Hey guys, and welcome to our channel. This is the Girlfriends and Goals podcast YouTube channel. My name is Samaria, and this is my best friend and co-host Miyosha. We are reviewing Married at First Sight season 14, episode 2. But before we get into it, there's a lot to get into. Before we get into it, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Our goal is to hit 1,000 so that we can go live during the season finale or after the season finale of season 14. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, this is dropping on Thursday night, but make sure you're back on Friday because we drop new podcast episodes every Friday. Feel free to come back tomorrow and watch and also check out our previous episodes. All right. So we're going to go couple by couple again, which we did last week, and that seemed to work. Which couple do you want to start with? Do you have a preference?
I think we should start with the couple who I feel like had the least going on.
Okay, I felt like it was Mark and Lindsey.
Mark and Lindsey, or Noi and Steve, whichever one.
Okay, so let's get Mark and Lindsey out of the way because we talked about them last week with their wedding. I literally have two things written for them. There's not much. I have Lindsey's dad has an interesting sense of humor. Like when he met Mark, he was like, "Ever go gator hunting?" I'm like, is that supposed to be a joke? What is this? And then that Lindsey is so unpredictable, especially at this stage, because Mark does not know this woman. And so I feel like she kept talking through the pictures. There was good and bad with her talking through the pictures. Good because I felt like she was genuinely trying to get to know him, and they uncovered that neither of their moms were there. He had the landlord at their wedding. But yeah, like just some of the things that she kept saying, like those aren't necessarily things you might want your close friends to hear in the beginning. She just gave zero bleeps in that moment. She's so unpredictable. That's all I had on them though.
Yeah, so I did write the same thing about neither one of their moms being there and how they kind of seemed to connect in that moment. So I was happy to see that. And then I wrote that Lindsey, once again, she's just always, I feel like, trying to bring that comedic relief. And it's just too much.
It is.
And then Mark said something interesting where he was like, "Oh, I'm just glad they were able to find someone who could keep up with me." And I'm like, more so, I hope you're able to keep up with her.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get old real quick. She's gonna wear that man down. He already looked worn out in the first episode, the first day they're meeting. So yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I forgot to write one thing down. I was thinking that I'm happy for them in that they both seem to be attracted to each other, even though it's only the wedding. She has been vocal so far about how she's attracted to him, which I was happy to hear.
That lady said he gave me WAP. Like, what a way to say that about a stranger. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I am happy for her in that she is attracted to him, because that's a big reoccurring thing that keeps coming up for the other couples as well. And then, for him, he hasn't been as vocal as her, but I do think that he is attracted to her. So
yeah, I think whatever their problems will be, we don't know them yet. Like we don't have insight, except for her being maybe just a little bit too much at times. And maybe he'll have to be like, hey, maybe reel it in sometimes, not every time high energy, like sometimes chill. But I'm hopeful that she has some of that, because she was saying that she likes to be in bed early. She likes structure. So maybe it is just the champagne talking. Maybe it is just that this is a wedding. He's a stranger. Maybe there are some nerves, maybe
true
behind that. But perhaps when they get to regular life, it might calm down. The only downside is that they're not going to regular life right away. So she might still be that way on the honeymoon.
Right. Yeah. And she's like that with other people.
Yeah, That's true. But I will say I do like that she's kind of approaching this as, I've never met a stranger, like even though he is a stranger, she's kind of approaching it like, okay, well, let's get cozy, which I think is an attitude that sometimes people don't have going into this process, that they be a
Mhm.
little bit more up. So I do like that about her.
I can agree with that.
Okay, cool. So nothing else about
I-
Mark the Shark and Lindsey.
yeah, I don't feel like they showed much.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't show much about Steve and Noy too, so I'm glad we can definitely get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Literally the only thing that I wrote was when she went dress shopping, which I think she pulled like a million dresses. Like she pulled a lot of dresses. I'm like, those people at that bridal shop must be like, girl, find you a dress and get out of here. But I was surprised that her friends kind of jumped to, well, I hope he's a good father. That shocked me a bit, but then I think they went to like the fact that he wants to be, or the show went to the fact that he wants to be a father very soon,
Mhm.
and she wants to be a mother very soon, which is one of the things that I think the experts might have matched them on, was them wanting a family.
Yeah. One note that I did write down about Steve was that he seemed to be the most calm, at least like leading up to the wedding.
Mhm.
He was just like, hey, I'm ready. It is what it is. He seemed to be the most chill out of everyone. And I don't know if that's just because of age, because he did say, like, hey, I just feel like this is the next thing that needs to happen. So
Mhm.
maybe he's just in like, go go go, like these are just the next steps
Yeah.
mode, and maybe not being as like in his feelings about the magnitude about what's about to happen.
I do like his like calm demeanor. I very much like that, like steady, not too much, not too little. Because Mark the Shark is around his age, but there's
Hmm.
a difference there. So I do like the calmness that comes with Steve. Um, yeah, I like that a lot. Another thing was I noticed that they kept saying the things that she was interested in, and he's almost all the things, really. Like she said, she
Hmm.
wanted someone who was tall. He's pretty tall. She wanted someone who was dark, which, if you're not a Black person, I think he is their their version of dark. Like I tweeted it, I was like, oh, he seems to be everything she wants. And this other Black girl tweeted back and was like, he's dark. I said, girl, their version of it,
Yeah.
So like he might not be dark to us, but I think that means maybe like dark hair, like not
Maybe.
that's what I always thought it meant, because obviously it can't mean complexion, right? And she liked that she wanted someone who was adventurous. He certainly is. He spent the last 4 months. Um, so yeah, I think he's all the things that she asked for, but it's different once you get there and see if there's an attraction, and it's
Hmm.
different ones, like the personalities, like if there's any chemistry or not. That's, we'll see.
And I wonder if one of those things was her wanting someone with a job.
Because she's probably not even thinking he doesn't have one. But I'm hoping for the best. I hope that because he went away 4 months, but still seems to have kept his place in
Hmm.
Boston, maybe that means that he has a financial like stability that we just don't know about.
Yeah, I don't think she would have asked for that because I think most people would say, oh, that's a given, especially if you're going through this process.
I think it's gonna be a shock for her. Like imagine, oh, he's everything I want, but he doesn't have like income right now. That it's gonna be a shock. But other than that, I'm very I have high hopes for the connection that could be there. I see why they were matched.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Did you have anything else about them? They literally
Nope.
gave us nothing. They kept everything for next week,
Yeah.
which is fine. Okay. I kind of want us to go to Alyssa and Chris.
Okay.
I said Alyssa bought 10 dresses. How? They must have been on Shein, because how you buy 10 wedding dresses and then you're going wedding shopping? Like, first of all, this show pays for everything. So why are you spending your own money?
She said, I'm gonna send it back.
I wouldn't have spent it in the first place, but I'm a lot frugal. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, how did she get 10 dresses? That was my first thing. But did you want to say anything about her?
Yeah. So I feel like for her, she kept bringing up the physical appearance in this episode.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is that I think when he went tuck shopping,
Hmm.
he said, I want someone who, when they see me, it looks like I have my stuff together and like I'm a responsible person.
Yeah.
So out of all the other men, like the other guys were like, oh, I hope when my wife sees me that she's blown away and she thinks I'm
Yeah.
attractive, talking about the physical attributes. But he was the only one that didn't say that. But then her expectations is that she does want someone that is attractive or that she's attracted to. So I thought that that was interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. As you were talking, I'm like, is he giving off maybe low self-esteem vibes? Like maybe he doesn't think he's attractive, so that's why he's so concerned. But I don't think he's a bad looking man. I don't think he's a bad looking man. But yeah, it was odd that she just kept on bringing the physical, and she's like, I told them exactly what I want. And it's like, first of all, your gold boots are ugly.
Listen.
Like you keep trying, like, you're worried about, and I guess I'm just expecting that she won't respond to him physically. So that's why I'm like a little bit not sold on her at this point, just based on the previews. But
Yeah.
she did seem excessively picky,
Mm-hmm.
which in real life, I understand. I'm all for, if this is what you want, that's what I think you should at least try to have. But I think it might not be a good thing for this type of a process. Like they can't
Yes.
create a man for you. They have to pick from what's out there.
And I think it may be a bit unrealistic because even if you say, I want the guy who has abs, this kind of haircut,
Mhm.
this type of skin tone, this height, they could find that guy and then you still see him and you're like, but I'm not attracted to him.
Exactly.
So I just feel like it may be unrealistic. And then when she was talking, like when she was trying on the dresses, it was the dress where she had like the gold, the beading on the back.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
me,
yeah.
none of those dresses screamed like barnyard chic or farm chic vibes. And then
Yeah.
when she described him, she's like, oh yeah, well, I want him in a tux, but then no tie. And then they cut to the scene of him
He has a
wearing the
tie on.
tie.
How are you supposed to know that? Like you're putting too much on this man who doesn't even know you. He did have on a blue suit though. She said she wanted a blue suit, and he did pick
Yeah,
blue.
which I was like, okay, that's good. But I was like, well, if your wedding gown and what you're putting together isn't like you're giving yourself more leeway for what you're
Mm.
wearing to match the theme or the vibe that you want, but then
Yeah.
you have these expectations of him and he doesn't even know you. So I don't know. For me, that seemed to be a bit much.
It really was. And I'm not liking it already. I wrote down that my concern is that he's going to bend so much for her. Like it literally, I think he said something to his friends like, okay, well, if she's not attracted to me, then my job is to figure out how can I turn into what she wants to be more attracted to. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that could backfire because one, how long can he exist that way? But
Mm-hmm.
also, maybe this is what happened in his last relationships because I don't know that. I think he could try everything he wants and still not be the one that she wants. Like he could make himself into what she says, but it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those things where either you got it or you don't. So it's like that might be unattractive to her that he's so willing to just be whatever for her. I
Yes.
don't see it going well. So I want him to not bend so much for her.
Yeah. And yeah, I did write that down too, that he seems that he's very willing to change. And at least from the scenes this episode, it was very much about, well, this is what I want.
Mm.
This is what I need. Not her not at least mentioning that, hey, if I am slightly different from what he may want or need, that, hey, I'm open to XYZ. There was none of that.
She's going into it like I'm the perfect catch, which I'm all about, like have your confidence. But she is going into it like I'm the perfect catch and he's gonna have to like come up to my standards, which again, you're marrying, which is a big commitment, a stranger at first sight. So you have to have some flexibility. I wish more people who did this show had his flexibility. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if he had the flexibility like that he has, and she had some flexibility, I would be comfortable with that. But the fact that we've already seen that he has the flexibility and she does not, I'm already like, I'm Team Chris. Alyssa can kick rocks already. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I don't know about her previous relationships other than the one where she got left after dinner, but I don't know, like her not mentioning certain attributes of, hey, I want him to have this type of personality or be loyal or understanding.
Yeah.
It was just so much about the physical. And I'm just hoping that she can be open-minded.
I don't have high hopes for her, but yeah, like you're right. She should be looking for, is he reliable or is he going to leave me during dinner before I even cook? Is he going to call me and say, don't cook dinner? Like that's what she's worried about. But I'm hoping for actually, I'm not. I don't expect much actually from.
Yeah. Especially that preview scene that they showed.
Oh my gosh. She's about to get on our nerves all season. I already know.
Yep. You know it.
With those gold boots. I hope we never see those again. They were not cute. Okay. Enough about Alyssa and Chris. So I want us to go to Katina and Olajuwon.
Okay.
Because I'm glad we got to see their wedding during this episode. I thought the scene with his family was really cute. Like, him trying on the stuff. It's like he was really feeling himself with those tux, like at the tux try on. He was all here for himself.
The sister-in-law, though.
Listen, it's like she just knows.
She want to say something so bad.
Exactly. The question she asked, the like expression on her, like, Olajuwon, are you ready? And it's getting like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe him when he says, oh, like I'm not a kid anymore. I think he very much is on a journey to be a better man. Like I kind of think he is done with the things of the past. The problem is that he has such a warped way of viewing what marriage looks like. And he just needs a solid girlfriend to see how that'll work first before getting to marriage. Like I just don't think he's ready for that because he doesn't know what marriage is. He has this like romanticized idea of what it is. And a romanticized idea that has him at the center of it. Like he's not necessarily considering things that he would need to, change. He's all about, is she coming the full package, in my opinion.
Yeah, his family said that they think that he's expecting too much. And I think my response to that is, I don't know that he's expecting too much because I think that he maybe can find the right fit for him. So even with the whole like cooking thing, like there are plenty of women who love to be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But the problem is that because of this process, I don't know where you put cook my 3 meals a day on your priority list, but if it isn't as important to her, she doesn't know how to do it as well as you think, it's just that he's coming across that he's not as flexible on that. So it's like, yeah, you could expect that, but you have to be flexible.
Yeah, I did write that down. I was like, it's just a lot to expect from a complete stranger. But when his family, I think like when they were talking about it, I felt like I wrote something down about what they were. Oh, they said that he wants somebody who works as much as he does. Like they were talking about, oh, do you think he wants somebody who stays at home? And they were like, no, I think he would want somebody who works as much as he does because he doesn't want somebody who's like at home. And then when he comes there, maybe being a little bit needy. And so that for me was like, okay, so he wants somebody who works as much as he does, but she's supposed to get up and cook and come home and
I missed that part.
Yeah, it was very fast. I think it was when he was trying on the tuxes, but yeah, that kind of, and he didn't say it, so I don't want to be like, oh, that was him. It was him who said, I think this is what he would want. But at the altar, when when he said the whole cooking thing, and her friends and family were like, you thought, like they started laughing. He was like, it's okay, we'll figure it out together. And so I'm like, maybe he was just talking big and bad for the cameras or for his family. Maybe now that he's seen her and so like enamored with her or whatever, maybe he's a little less rigid.
Oh yeah, because it's one thing to say, oh, well, I want this, and this, and you better do this, and this, and then you have a whole human in front of you.
Yep.
And you're smitten with their beauty. All of a sudden, you're Mr. Flexible. Which, speaking of the altar, he was gonna get that compliment out of her one way or another. That was so awkward. He was just like waiting like a dog, like, you gonna compliment me?
Do you like what you see? Like, dang, she's still reveling in the comment you gave her, but he was so like, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, which is very nice. But then like, I think at like maybe the third one, it was like, okay, it's a little bit awkward. But then when he asked the whole, do you like what you see? I'm like, okay, is he going to be one of those people who can't give a compliment without receiving one? I don't think there's anything wrong with it, though. I do think, it's something he's been nervous about. Like, is she going to find me attractive? So I didn't think too much of it, but it was kind of funny that he was fishing for it.
Yes. Also, I guess just to take one step back, he was very emotional.
Yes,
which was shocking. Mr. Playboy, Mr. Isaac.
His brother, like his family was not taking it seriously. His brother was like, yeah, that's called, it just hit him a little bit. Like they were making jokes. I'm like, hey, let this man have his moment. Why y'all?
Even I think it was his sister. She kind of like looked back at him like, are you serious?
Right.
In the hotel.
Somebody tweeted, they were like, Elijah Wan crying because he got to bury Isaac tonight.
It's a funeral.
Okay. You had to say goodbye to his boy.
Oh man. But yeah, so to jump to the actual wedding, I think their interactions were good. It wasn't too awkward, other than him fishing for the compliment at the altar.
Yeah.
But after,
yeah,
I felt like he was giving me like very intense. Like I feel like they were on opposite sides of the spectrum. Like he was very, very intense and like, oh, you're so beautiful, and talking. And she was just like, like not really saying anything, just smiling. It felt very awkward for me because I guess I wasn't expecting her to be as emotional. It's just, she looked stunned.
It had to be a lot. Like for one second, I thought, oh, it's just editing. But when she went to the diary and was like, it's kind of overwhelming right now. It's just a lot. Like she seems like a very chill person. Maybe she was expecting the personality of a Steve or something like that, but he was not. And a part of me wants to say, okay, this was his first time meeting. Maybe he's nervous. And really, I think because he's like come from being a playboy, he wants to sell himself as, hey, this is my resume. Like, see me as this guy that I've been working so hard to be, supposedly. And so maybe he's just trying to get ahead of that and sell himself, but his timing is wrong.
Yes, it was a lot, and it was giving me Mark the Shark and Lindsey energy.
But he's Lindsey. And she's not even Mark the Shark, because she doesn't even have that energy.
It was a lot, very awkward. So yeah.
I am interested to see how that will go, but I do very much like her. I think I like her personality. I like how chill she is. Hopefully that balances out. But again, I don't think he's ready for marriage, and I think that will become evident each episode going forward.
One thing that I did write down about Katina is that she said that she was tired of being the only single friend and the friend with no kids.
Okay.
And that was like much earlier on, I think, like when she was like getting dressed, maybe. I can't remember. But I wrote down that I hope that she's not going through this process to not be the one left out in
Mm-hmm.
terms of her friend group and kind of where everyone is in life. She's turning 30 or is 30
Yeah.
years old. So people are kind of in that season of getting married and having children. I just hope that she's not just trying to check a box to
Yeah.
get it done so that she's not in this group of people, single people, just to
Yeah.
say like, oh, I'm married now. And I don't think so, but being that they kind of opened up with that,
Yeah.
I just hope that she's not trying to check a box. And then if it is with a person who just isn't ready for marriage,
Mm-hmm.
that poses an even bigger problem.
Yeah, I feel like she is ready. I don't think she's doing it. I agree with you. I don't think she's doing it just because everybody is. I think she might just be at a place where she's ready to like love in that way and receive love in that way and to have the commitment.
Okay.
And this opportunity came around. So yeah, but that is something that we might need to look out for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else on them? I think I was like, she is over him already. So are we. Uh
Listen, she had that deer in headlights, like,
and I like that her like BS meter went off. I like that she's so in tune with herself and what she wants that she's already like, I'm not too sure about this. And these are the specific reasons why. I'm a little overwhelmed. He's doing a bit much right now. So
mhm.
I do like that. It seems like she's mature and in tune with herself.
She did say that there was a little bit of attraction there. I think.
Yeah. But I mean
Yeah.
he's not a bad looking guy.
Yeah.
So
All right, we'll see.
we shall see. Okay. Jasmina and Michael. How are you feeling about them?
Okay, I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'm feeling good about them. The one thing that I wanted to clear up
Mhm.
is Michael was saying that he was the last of his name sake
Mhm.
and that he's the youngest of all of his sisters. So it was sounding like he was the only brother, but then they show, I think his name was Ralph. So is that his brother? Like,
Yeah, I think maybe the last of his name was just like he's the because there are so many girls, maybe he's the one who will be carrying on the name. Maybe I don't
okay.
know, or maybe Ralph is a half brother. I really don't know, but that's initially what I thought. Like, okay, so he's the man with all these girls, and he's the
Yeah.
last one. Maybe I don't know what Ralph's story is, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what he meant by maybe that's his half brother.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll see. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if
so
you
I
guys
like
know,
talking.
please clarify in the comments because I wasn't sure either.
Yeah, I'm feeling like, okay, he's the only boy or brother, but then they keep showing this other guy, he calls him his brother.
Hmm.
So either way, for Michael, I'm glad that he was talking a lot about being vulnerable, being open. So it seems like he's very much aware that that was an issue in his past. So I
Yeah,
just hope that him openly talking about it is keeping it top of mind
yeah,
so that he, as he goes through this process, he's aware of it, and not trying to downplay it.
mm.
For Jasmina, I it was interesting how her nerves hit her so hard, like right before the wedding. A few of the other women were also saying how they felt like they were about to throw up, and how for a minute I was like, girl, I hope you don't run out of there. Like you have
Ah,
to follow through on this process. But she redeemed herself when she got to the altar and she was very lighthearted and comedic.
yeah.
Um, so
I I can understand why it hit her really hard, especially when they started talking about. So she takes marriage very seriously, and I think there's that weight and pressure that she put on herself of I need to show my siblings how marriage should be, and so I can
mhm.
understand like in that moment feeling like, man, there's a whole lot of pressure that I put on this is this the right thing to bet on? Is this the right thing to put pressure on? So yeah, I think I understood with those pressures in mind and like how seriously she takes marriage, why it hit her. But I know a lot of people are just like, girl, you signed up for this, which I get. But then when you're like moments, away from it, I guess all fun and games when you're dress shopping, go your moments away from it, I can kind of understand like this is kind of serious business. So I got
Yeah.
that. I like that. Michael's siblings. I love how his siblings are just there for him. I love
Mhm.
the pin that they had for to represent his mom. They like made him cry before his wedding. I thought that was very sweet. But I love both of their family dynamics. I love the
Mhm.
support that they're both getting. And hopefully that continues throughout the season. Like they can turn to their families and get advice that,
Mhm.
leads them to making the relationship work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I loved her being the little comedian at the
Mhm.
altar because she was Miss No Nonsense. Remember we talked about that last week, that she's no
Yeah.
nonsense, but then she had like a funny way of breaking the news to her family. You could see her personality. So I loved that her personality just like showed out at the
Mhm.
wedding and afterwards.
Yes.
Um I felt like his sisters threw him under the bus a little bit with like some of the things that they were saying, but the families always act a fool on this show. I feel like they never. You need to understand the assignment. He's trying to marry a stranger. You need to say positive things. If it's something bad, like don't make it. Oh, he's sloppy. So don't do that. But yeah,
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I wrote that I could appreciate her comedic side. I felt like their chemistry was good. Like
yes.
it was to me the most relatable. Like
Yeah.
not too much, but then like not nothing at all.
Yeah, I really loved, and I think how easily it kind of flowed. So when he was
Mhm.
like, I thought your name would be Melissa. And then I was like, I'm gonna shorten it to Mimi, but your name's Jasmina. So it still kind of works. So I was kind of right. She's like, you were wrong. It's
Mhm.
actually not that. But I liked that they could have that banter. And then they talked about like the bedtime conversations, which led to some. I think it's always a good sign when you bring something up and then that leads to you getting to know something else about the person, like when the conversation just flows from thing to thing. So
Mhm.
that's a
Very,
good sign.
yeah, very natural, no awkward, super long awkward
Yes.
silences, which maybe they edited them out, but it didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
And interesting, like he said that he doesn't watch TV at all. And she was just like, what? But I was like, girl, that's more access to the TV for you. Let him sit there and read a book. You don't got to pause your shows to let him watch football, girl. That is
That's
not a
so funny.
problem.
Yeah, let him go to sleep at 9:30, 10, and you can still watch your K dramas while he sleeps. But yeah, I thought it was really sweet of him, of course, to hold the dress. Like he took on that role. Like every time you saw them together, he had that dress in hand,
Okay.
trotting along. And I like how like into her beauty he is. Like I think he was one of the ones who mentioned looks being important.
Hmm.
I like that they were like really playful with each other. Do you think that she's attracted to him? I think on Twitter that came up. They're like, oh, she's tolerating him. She's not attracted to him. But what did you think?
I don't think that she was just like, whoa, like
Yeah.
lusting after him. And
Mhm.
I didn't expect that either.
From her.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, from her, because it to me, I think she wants someone who is attractive. But
Yeah.
I think even if he was even more attractive than he already is, he would still have to put in the effort in the work. I haven't gotten the vibe from her that she would just be so swept off her feet because he's
Yeah.
so handsome. I just haven't gotten that vibe from her. Like, you're going to have to find a genuine way to her heart,
Yeah.
not through looks. And she did say, like, hey, like, there's a little bit of like spark there. And I
Yes.
think the more she gets to know him, that will grow.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's stunning. So for him, he's just like,
She's beautiful.
which she absolutely is.
Yeah.
But I also think that for men and women are different. So it's not fair to compare that initial reaction, I think, to looks. Only because like for her, she mentioned looks, but in her, I guess, one-on-one interviews, she talked a lot more about character traits she was looking for. Like, yes, I want to be attracted to them, but she wasn't like Alyssa.
Why'd you even bring her up? I'm so annoyed by her already, and she hasn't even met her husband. But yeah.
So I'm not saying that it's not important. It's just the way that she's portrayed herself as like, yeah, I want this, but you know, there has to be other things that are like higher priority.
Yeah.
But I could sense the chemistry. I just think it's also not fair too, because they're just seeing each other. So, you know, they have to get used to each other. So I guess we'll see how the honeymoon goes.
Yeah, but I don't think she finds him unattractive or anything. I think he's very neutral. She's not turned off by him. So I'm excited to see where they will go. If there's any couple that I have like a little bit of hope for, it's them, just because they seem to hit it off. Their personalities, their sense of humor, like it's all seeming like a good match. We still got to find out if he likes Marvel films. So they didn't show us that answer, but if it's a big deal for her, I can understand. But yeah, so that's it for tonight's review. We will be back here next Thursday. Please, again, subscribe to the channel and check out our podcast episode that is dropping on Friday morning. Until next time, bye.
Bye.